Hey, this is Kate. If you're enjoying the content on the Good Fight channel, then please do hit like and subscribe below. Thank you. Edgar Berlanga, 20-0, rising star in boxing. Plus, Coach Kay, you're with us as well, one of the most respected voices in boxing. I guess just to kind of start, I know that you two have been connected for a while, right? But how did that connection come, Edgar?
I mean, with me and Kay, we built this relationship from the amateurs. Like, this is way back. When people see us now, they're like, oh, they probably think like this is something new. I knew Kay since when I was a baby. Like, I was probably like 11, 12 years old, in the amateurs and stuff. And we used to fly to different tournaments. Like, it was like regions, so he was like region 2. I was region 1, but we'll wind up meeting each other like at nationals and stuff. He'll be with like Troy Isley, he'll be with Shakur, and it'll be me. We'll go to ringside world nationals, Junior Olympic nationals, Silver Glove nationals, and that's how we built that bond.
So what's your first memory of him?
Man, just a little Spanish kid throwing fast punches. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I'm like, dang. You know what I mean? Just watching him, how amazing he was as a kid. And then watching him grow up, you know what I'm saying, as a teenager. And just evolving all around, like throwing power, boxing, and always full of jokes. So we always had fun. We always got together.
So I don't want to paint the wrong picture, right, with Kay being here, because I know that you guys have some kind of involvement in terms of your coaching, but it's not who you consider your head coach. Is that right? Do you want to kind of clear up that picture of who you're working with and who your head coach is?
Kay was somebody that, like, he's always been there for me, so like whatever help I needed, he was always, he always had his hand out for us. Like when I went to Vegas for I had tore my bicep, my fight in October. We went to Vegas, we went to the UFC Performance Institute. I hit up Kay like, yo, Kay, I'm going out there, and Kay like held it down for us like no one's ever done that before. Like he's always a helping hand. He's always out there. He's always wanting to help, and he sees a vision. He wants me to go to that next level. So with K, man, like he's always been there for us. Especially for me and my dad. Like amateur days. When I went to the Olympic Training Center too, like my dad don't trust nobody with me. And with me, it was like we went out there for like a month and a half. I went to Colorado Springs, and my dad flew me out there with Kay, and I was out, under the guidance of Kay, and we did amazing. So, like we got that trust with each other.
Kay is one of those guys that a lot of young, talented fighters coming up want to work with, right, and want to be connected to. What is it that you'll value so much about him?
Just like, the love of boxing, like I feel like, a lot of trainers, they train, but like, he's a teacher. Like me, I could grab somebody, I could train somebody, but it's teaching is what takes you to the next level. And when you're dealing with elite athletes like myself and Shakur and Troy and Kenneth Sims and Michaela, you need teachers, and he's that type of guy. Like he teaches you the sport of boxing. And not only that, he loves the sport. Like when we in the house together, I wake up in the morning, he's watching boxing. He's telling me, yo, Edgar, put on your last fight. Let's watch your fight in March. Let's study that. Like, you see what you did wrong here. You see what you did wrong in the June fight. So that's something different that's like about Kay.
I hear what you're saying about trials and tribulations, right? I can only imagine that the last period of time hasn't been easy. If you look at, the knockout streak coming to an end, you had the 4 decision wins consecutively, and you got a lot of criticism on the back of those decision wins. You had the injury, you had to have the surgery, and now the suspension on the back of biting Angulo. How have you lived that last year? What's it felt like to you?
Crazy, 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 crazy. Yeah, it's just like with me, I already know with boxing. Like at the end of the day, with this boxing world, like you win, they're gonna talk crap. You lose, they're gonna talk crap. You cocky, they're gonna talk crap. You humble, they're gonna talk like the boxing world has always something to say, whether you're doing good or bad. When I was knocking everybody out in the first round, yeah, I wasn't getting the critics that I'm getting now, but I was still getting criticized. Oh, let's see if he could go rounds. Let's see if he could go to the 10th round. Let's see if he could pass this 5th round. Let's see. Everything was a question mark about me. I gave the fans going to distant fights. I fought Angulo. I fought Steve Rose. I fought on my October 5 fought Caceres. And I fought guys that fought for the world title. These are guys that fought champions for the world titles. for me, it's like they still talking crap. I beat them. Unanimous decision. None of those fights was close. To me on my team or anybody. But yeah, I mean, I just take it day by day. Like, I don't really pay attention now to social media. For me, everybody has a mouth. I just take it day by day. For me, I just gotta continue to win, train hard. Bust my behind in that gym. Forget about social media and just stay focused on the prize.
So you just said something that, just like hit me. So you said basically the criticism. How do you feel that people criticized you for knocking everybody out and then also saying like, oh man, let's see if he can do that, if he can go the distance or whatever. All the naysayers and all the people that's talking about me, I'm giving them what they wanted. They wanted to see me go the distance. Do you feel like, well, dang, what can I do right?
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. Like, I don't understand. What's crazy, like in life, like look at Floyd Mayweather, like when like what he said, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. Well, everybody that's popping in the industry, they're always gonna have like those naysayers, those people that's gonna bash you, Canelo, Floyd, Shakur, Devin Haney, like these guys have haters, and for me it's the same thing. Like I knocked everybody in the first round, my first 16 fights. Obviously, I didn't get that experience, that experience to go around to start finding who Edgar Berlanga is. I was knocking them out in the first round. It wasn't my fault. I got heavy hands. I was just touching them and they was going. And then now I go to distance 4 fights. Oh, you're fighting bums. You're fighting Uber drivers. You're fighting tomato cans. You're supposed to be stopping these guys. You're supposed to be knocking these guys out. And I'm like, which way y'all want it? Like, so at the end of the day, now my mindset is like, F the hate, like F the haters, F anybody that has anything negative to say about me. I'm gonna just continue to do what I do, listen to my corner, progress in the sport of boxing, just keep elevating, get better, with my skills, stay in the gym, stay off social media, don't put too much attention on that, and just continue to win. Because at the end of the day, nobody's gonna pay my bills, nobody's gonna feed my family, nobody's gonna, raise my son the right way. I'm the one that has to do all of that.
Like people criticizing you for the name, the monster. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about that?
The whole monster thing came about when I stopped Bellows in the first round and I went on top of the ropes and I said, I'm a fucking monster. And I was looking directly at Timothy Bradley when I said that. Because he was trying to criticize me about being 2 ounces over when the scale was messed up. So anyway, moving forward, that's why the monster thing came about, because I said, I'm a monster, and I was like, boom, went viral. So now, people say, I'm a monster. And I was knocking people on the first round. Now that I'm boxing, people say, oh, he's not a monster. So I'm a pretty monster now. I'm going to just call myself pretty monster, I'm a boxer now, Box pretty, box pretty.
So if you were going to give yourself a grade for the last fight, what would the grade be?
Like a C.
Yeah, I mean, the reason, I'm just not being biased. I mean, I feel like a lot of people, didn't really like look at what Edgar actually did. Angulo is tough. People talk about his age and everything like that, but here's a guy who fought, a young David Benavidez, who's a great fighter, you know what I'm saying? And he gave David Benavidez a good, tough fight, you know what I mean? I also saw, little signs of what he did with Benavidez with Edgar. And Edgar didn't, like fall. He's like, okay, I'm here now. This is a test that I wanted, you know what I'm saying? Either I'm going to show him that he's old or he's going to show me that I'm not meant to be in this division. So I feel like a C to weather the storm mentally and not worry about, trying to impress everybody else, but actually learn off. And Gula, I feel like, yeah, C is definitely a point that I would give him, he's being honest with himself.
You said to not let the kind of the social media and everything get to him. You can say that, right? Don't worry about social media, but everybody checks their notifications.
Yeah.
Did you find the last year, was that like a grounding experience for you? Because you had to have been feeling yourself for a minute there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm still feeling myself. Like, I'm still like, it's not changing. Like, that's not gonna make me or break me at the end of the day. I was on a streak and stuff, and it was cool. But my mindset is still like, I know I'm still that dude in the sport of boxing. So it made me realize too. I'm not gonna lie, like, to really like just sit down and like focus on boxing, focus on my family, and do this for my family, for my loved ones. That deserve it. I go on my next fight and I could take a L. I get knocked out. Edgar Berlanga is over. Maybe not. You see guys like Pacquiao that fought, got knocked out, came back. Not saying that it's over completely, but you know how it is. Like, once you take that L, that's it. Everybody treats you like you ain't nothing in the sport. Now, just my mindset is different. You know, I'm in a tough division, and I want the big fights now. For me to like really step up and fight these guys, you know, I feel like I'm gonna step up to the plate.
So I'd be excited to see you get those bigger fights. What do you guys think if you're mapping that out? Like, so you're suspended till December, is that right? 6 months suspension means December. Is that when you would plan to come back or what?
No, we plan to come back like January, but like I was telling Kay, like you want to fight guys like John Ryder, like Jaime Munguia. Like I know I'm ready for those type of fights now. Like I know myself. Like I've been boxing for damn near almost 20 years. You know, I got the rounds, and like I said, like I just feel like when I do like step up to the opposition where I know that that level of competition is high, I know for a fact that I'm gonna show up to that fight. You know, like it's gonna be a different Berlanga. It's not gonna be the Berlanga that y'all seen these last 4 fights or these previous 10 fights. You get what I'm saying? I know that now my mindset is gonna change. Everything's gonna change because I'm in there with real guys now.
My thing was when we had a discussion and they gave him the suspension, it was like, don't think about the suspension. Don't think about what happened. Really think about, what you did. As in, yeah, no, I created the suspension, but now let's use the suspension to benefit us. Spend time with your family, spend time with your son, take care of your injuries. You know what I'm saying? Really figure out what path you want to take. Enjoy life, enjoy a break. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about what they're saying on social media and anything like that. And then when you're ready to talk about boxing, come back and talk about boxing. So that's what we kind of did. He went away, he stayed, away from everything, just lived his life. And it's like, it's congratulations too on, engagement to your, your beautiful fiance. That's a big thing. That's something that he was able to do, to take away being upset that they took away something from him. I think, now he was able to focus on his family. What is his real chapter in life is like my family. This is who I want to spend the rest of my life with. I have a beautiful son, you know what I mean? And that's something I wanted to, tap on. Like, what does your son do for you as you being a father? Like, what does it feel like being a father, knowing that your kid's watching or your girlfriend's watching and she's nervous? But believe me, I know Jen's never nervous. She's always loud, but you know what it is.
Like right now, I'm hyped. Like I'm happy that my son is like really in tune with boxing. Like it's crazy as it sounds, but he's already throwing punches. You know, he loves boxing. You throw on a boxing fight of mine, like he's tuned in. Like he knows what's going on. Like he knows when I'm knocking that guy out, he starts going berserk. So for me, I'm getting anxious. Now I really can't wait to get in the ring because I know that he knows like more or less what's going on, and I can't wait to that moment when I'm in the ring. Everybody's going crazy, and I look over my shoulder and I see him there looking at me. It's gonna motivate me, because I definitely don't want to get knocked out in front of my son. I definitely so it's gonna motivate me to beat the crap out of this guy and then jump on the ropes and look at my son and like, yeah, we did it, because he's my motivation. Like me seeing him is like I brought something into this world. Me and Genesis, we brought something into this world that we have to cherish.
Question about the name. So you called him Chosen, and you said people call you the Chosen One, right? And I read that was based on the biblical story, the story of King David, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So
100%.
I guess what confused me about that was King David was overlooked, right? Nobody thought he was going to be the king that he was. Whereas I look at you as somebody coming up and you had so much hype from early. Did you feel overlooked though?
Yeah, I still felt overlooked. Even me growing up, like me turning pro and promoters didn't want to sign me because of incident that happened in the amateurs, so they was like iffy about signing me, and I'm like, oh word? Oh this okay. And it's like I had to go another route and fight in Mexico, knock people out in Mexico. I signed with Holyfield Promotions. That's when I really made my name in New York. They put me main event. I believe they put me main event one time. It was Puerto Rican Day weekend. They didn't have nothing going on. Like Top Rank didn't have nothing going on. We was the only promotion. That was the only promotion I was having son in Puerto Rican Day weekend. I was main event. I fought a Mexican from Mexico. Tough guy. He went the distance with the Castaño brothers, and I knocked him out in the first round. And this dude fought the Castaño brothers, went the distance with them. He fought another world champ, went the distance with him as well. I knocked him out in the first round, and that's when I really created that buzz. Like, who's this kid? Like they was like, oh, that's Berlanga. That's when all the promotions started. Holyfield went down. They wasn't like doing no fights no more. So I was looking for a way to get out, and that's when the phones just kept jumping. Louis the Cubas, Al Heyman, Golden Boy, names just started, phone calls just coming in left and right. They're like, damn, this dude's freaking 8-0 with 8 knockouts in the first round. He's doing numbers in New York. Damn, like, but it took that for promoters to believe in me. You get what I'm saying? For people to see some, because I felt like I was getting so overlooked. And even that, still knocking people out in the first round, I was still getting overlooked. And, now even more. So that's why I feel like I named myself the chosen one.
It's interesting to me that you feel like there was an incident that meant that then promoters were kind of cautious around working with you. If you think about the Angulo fight and the bite, do you think that affects your reputation?
Not at all. I got more famous off of that. Whether it's good or what, like, people could take it how they want. They could take it good, they could take it for bad. But at the end of the day, I was still out there. Like, that's what really messed up the whole fight. People just looking at the air bite. The next day you got Mike Tyson promoting his air bite, his edibles for his weed. He got Holyfield's ear bitten off, and they're promoting. They're playing me talking about my fight on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and he's promoting. So I need a percentage from Mike Tyson when I see him in November. I'm gonna tell him I need my percentage of that video to promote his ear bite. So listen, like, that's another thing too. I want to touch base on, like, when you got a guy, and Kay was there. We even warned the ref right before the fight, like, yo, listen, ref, this guy fights dirty. He headbutts. He throws a lot of elbows. You got to watch. No, champ, we're going to take care. This is your night. We're going to make sure you're okay. We're going to take care of you. You're good. All right. I'm just letting you know. Going to the fight, the dude's elbowing from round 1 to round 10. He cut me open. He cut me open with an elbow here. There was a boxing page that I'm real cool with, and he broke the fight down in 10 rounds. And it was disgusting, like, how much this dude was throwing so much elbows and fighting dirty. He was telling them that I was fighting dirty. And I was like, nah, bro, like, you was fighting dirty. You was trying to get street with me. You get what I'm saying? So people look at it like as if I was frustrated because I was, like, losing, and I was not losing the fight. I had the fight 8-2, unanimous decision. So for me, it was just like I was frustrated for the simple fact of him fighting the way he was and the ref not giving him no type of warnings. You get what I'm saying? And during the fight, you can't even see that. I talked to the ref, and I'm like, yo, this guy's elbowing, man. Like, do something. And just that night was off. Like, between all the fights that night, it was bad. The refereeing was horrible that night. Well, going back to the air bite thing, like, I take it how it is. I'm doing my time. The commission suspended me for 6 months. Anyways, I needed that rest, to take time and reflect on everything that I went through this last 8 months. But yeah, like, you take it like you want it. I'm still Edgar Berlanga. That's, it still made me famous. I still was on every show, and I had people talking about me.
Coach's perspective, what did you think about it when you watched it back, 7th round?
Oh man, I feel like it was just frustration out of both of them. You know what I mean? And you learn from it. You know what I mean? It's just something that you did. I told him, man, you should have kept your cool and all that stuff like that. But he's young, he's growing up. A lot of things are coming to him fast. That pressure sometimes it shows up in the ring. You know what I mean? I think that for him coming out, apologizing, to Angulo and saying, hey, my bad, and him also recognizing that Angulo kind of pushed him to that level. I think that's the big part of it, knowing that somebody could take me there and I have to control myself. I have to find a way not to let somebody push me there. So, I took it as a learning lesson. Everything in life, I feel like, whether people say it's bad or whatever or negative, I think that, it's not bad or negative. It teaches you. Either you're going to do it again and make the same mistake, or you're not going to do it again. So I feel like that's where Edgar was at. Like, oh man, I can't shy away from it. But, like, look at him now. He laughs about it. Like, and it's not disrespectful to Angulo or to the boxing commission, but it's just like, hey, man, people are going to, whatever you do in life, if you're in that light, they're going to make a meme off of it. They're going to do something. So don't get bitter about it. Enjoy it. Laugh at it. And, just know that, let people know, like, hey, I know what I did. I apologize about that. But, I got to laugh. They're making fun of me. So I got to laugh with them. So, I think it's cool. He's also a singer.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he comes out with all these reggaeton artists and all this stuff like that. I'm waiting for him to come out and sing one time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? As a kid, he was a singer. He just be singing in the room, dancing. One day I'll leak the video. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he's in this generation, but he has an old heart. You know what I'm saying? He listens to old school R&B, everything. You know what I mean? So actually, he put me on to the reggaeton harder. This generation reggaeton. You know what I'm saying? That's all he would play.
that's what's good about, like, you know, having two different nationalities in the same household. Cause, you know, me, I'm Spanish. You know, he's not in tune with the Spanish, you know, culture like that, with Spanish music and stuff. So I'm putting him on to like all the Bad Bunny and the Ozuna, the Anuels, and you know, he didn't know really too much about these guys. And now when I'm out here, he hits me on WhatsApp and he's playing Bad Bunny. Like,
What did he put you onto?
Oh man, he R&B, man. Like
R&B.
we used to be in camp. He has a playlist. He has a playlist. He comes in, he plays it. I'm like, who's on the op? It's Edgar. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. You know what I'm saying? He's been doing it since he was 14, 15. So I gotta take my hat off to him, you know what I'm saying? So here's something else I wanted to touch on. Like your relationship with your father. Do you build your relationship with your father the same way that you want with your son?
It's crazy because, you know, like people see the relationship with my dad right now and they're like, damn, like y'all look like y'all was always that tight with each other, but it wasn't. Like when I was young, when I was like 15, 16, I bumped heads a lot with him. You know, like there was just a lot of arguments, a lot of say something, I'll say something else. Like we wasn't clicking like that for a certain amount of time. You know, we was always going back and forth, always arguing with each other. He didn't want to work with me at one point. He's like, yo, like I'm gonna just step back, you know, like cause it's just, you know, like you're not listening to me and I'm not listening to you. Like, but eventually, you know, I feel like I came with age. You know, I was 15, 16. I'm young. I'm a teenager. You know how it is when you're young. You think you know it all and stuff. I started to notice, like, damn, the realest one on my team is my dad. You know, like, I gotta just chill. Like, I gotta fall back and just really tone it down and listen before I speak. And I started doing that. And then, like, it started coming to light where a lot of things he was saying, I wouldn't argue back with him, and I'll just wait and I'll let him like say what he has to say. I'll see the situation and it'll be true. Like it'll be like, all right, pops, you're right about this. A second situation comes, you're right about this, and then it just kept going like that. And I was like, damn, like my dad is in my career and in my life for the right, you know, for the right purposes. And yeah, so that from there on, I was like 17, 18 when I turned pro. Forget about it. Like me and him was just tight. Me and him just still like that, you know. And now it's even more. Like I call him for anything, everything.
But you know who's tough in this family?
Who's that?
His mother.
Oh, yeah?
Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? You know, no one knows about the moms. You know what I'm saying?
I'm kind of happy she was not like really in tune with the boxing and like really dug in deep like my dad did, because people were scared of my dad, but I'm like, no, my mom, like she wants to control everything. Like, you know, hey, you got, I'm like, mom, relax. Like, that's why I don't tell you nothing. If I do, she's like, oh, what's going on? And she's like a freaking pit bull. And I'm like, mom, like, relax.
So we definitely have to give moms a shout because she's always behind the scenes, but she's there. You know what I'm saying? She's a big part of them.
My mom is behind the scenes, but she's one of the reasons why I'm still boxing as well. Because when my dad, you know, my dad did his first, I don't know if you've seen the ESPN, you know, the build up to my fight. You know, my dad did 7 years. 2 weeks after I was born, he went away for 7 years. He got into an incident in the nightclub. So my mom raised me, you know, obviously till I was 7. Still, you know, she was still raising us. You know, I was living in shelter homes with her, with my sisters. Then he stood out for 3 years. He went back in for 4 years. So till I was like 11 to like, well, 10 to 14, you know, he was gone. And she like held big time. And me, I grew, like my mind was like already, like if I was older, if I was 10, I was already thinking like I was 14, 15. By the time I was 13, I was thinking like I was 17, 18 years old. You know, so I was outside. Like I wanted to be outside. I wanted to hang out with the bad guys and stuff. You know, I wanted to get into trouble and everything. With her, like she kept me focused. You know, my dad was away. My dad couldn't do nothing. You know, the most thing he could have done was just speak to me like, yo, Edgar, please, you know, like stay in the gym and stay dedicated. And I was like, I kind of was drifting away from boxing, you know, because he went away. And with her, you know, her being on the guidance of my mom, you know, she was there, like on top of me, like making sure I was going to school, making sure I was getting good grades. Certain times I was about to like fall off and go into the streets and stuff. And she was like, yo, like, what you doing? Like, she bring me back. All right, going to the gym, like stay in the gym. So she really kept me grounded throughout those years, you know, that my dad wasn't there. So big shout out to my mom for that. You know, like without her, I feel like if she wasn't there and I was like on the guidance of someone else, to be honest, like I don't know about where I would be. You know, not, you know, obviously my dad was locked up and stuff, but not saying that even if he would have came up, I would have went back into boxing. But, a lot of things can happen in 4 years. You done seen the craziest things happen with 12, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, out in the streets, doing bad things and getting into trouble. So, I really thank my mom for that, for sure.
Does she know how much you appreciate her?
Yeah, I tell her that all the time. Like, she sees interviews, she hears interviews. I'm pretty sure, like, once we throw this interview up, she's going to be watching it home. She watches all my interviews. She watches everything. She's the one that tells me, like, you heard what this guy was saying about you? I'm like, Ma, I don't care. Like, who's this guy talking crap about you? Like, why is he talking crap? I'm like, Ma, I don't know. I don't want to know about that. Like, she watches all my interviews. Anybody that interviews me, anybody that talks about me on on YouTube, she's like in tune quick. So she's gonna probably, once this goes up, she's gonna tell me about it.
So Timothy Bradley better stay out your mom's way.
Yeah.
Terrible. Why you gonna take a shot at Tim?
What are you hoping for 2023, essentially? So how many times do you want to be out? How often do you want to be fighting?
Depending, if we get that John Ryder fight, obviously Eddie Hearns is with it. So, we get that fight. I'm looking to fight him. Possibly, probably getting another fight, like in June, probably Puerto Rican Day weekend or something. And then, going for the big dogs, man. Canelo, like, I feel like, man, like, the time is now. I don't want to keep, like, babying myself. I feel like I baby myself too much mentally. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm already there. Like, I see my brothers doing it. Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. These guys we grew up together in the same same area. We went to nationals together. So it's like Ryan Garcia, another one that's out there. Tank is another one. So it's like I'm seeing these guys do it. Like, there's no difference. There's nothing different that they got that I don't have. The difference is their mentality, their mindset. They want to fight the best. They want to get in there with the top dogs and beat them, such as Teofimo, what he did to Lomachenko. So that right there, stuff like that really made me realize, like, damn, like, it's nothing different. We got the same national titles. We've fought pretty much everyone. You get what I'm saying? Different type of countries. So it's like there's nothing different between me and them. So it's like, why I'm not there? Because of my mind. I feel like I was just holding myself back. And for 2023, I really want to blow up, like, and just take it to that level and just beat these top guys. I know I could beat them. I know I got the skill, I got the will, I got everything it takes to beat them. So I just want to put myself in those positions now and just really put my name out there in the boxing world, and not the knockout artist or the guy that can't do it. Oh, the guy's gonna know. I'm gonna beat top level oppositions. That's it. That's what I'm focused on, is really beating these type of guys. The John Ryders, the Jaime Munguias, eventually getting into the Canelo fight, and making a big fight with him. And, that's just my mindset now. Like, I'm not babying myself no more.
But here's the thing. How do you feel about your classmates being great?
When I was at the core fight this last Friday, I was with Jen, and I'm like, when he was walking out with Kevin Gates, I was like, damn, babe, like, this is fire. Like, this is dope. Like, I told her, I swear to God, I'm like, yo, like, me and this guy was broke, like, going to tournaments, fighting for medals and trophies. Like, that's what that was like our achievement, like, was to win a gold medal or to win, the first place trophy, to now walking out in a stadium full of fans with a hot artist fighting for belts. Fighting for money is different, man. I'm like, yo, we came a long way. Like, it's just crazy, man, how far you, like. And for me, it's like how we all had the same mindset and the same determination, whether or not, everybody's on a different level. You got Core, got 2 titles. You got Tank that has a title. You got Devin that has all the titles. But at the end of the day, we all came in with the same mindset, the same determination into the same sport. And it's just amazing, man. Like, I'm happy, just seeing my bros, man, really doing it, feeding their family. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And I'm just happy, man. Like, it's really, really, like, watching Cole walk out, it was something different. I'm like, damn, like, because, me walking out, I can't see because I'm the guy that's walking. You get what I'm saying? So, like, a guy like Cole, like Devin, that was at my fight, they could be like, damn, like, this is crazy. It's packed out for one person. This is amazing. So for me being there, it was like, damn, like, it was just so crazy. Like, seeing everybody recording him, I'm like, damn, like, this is somebody that we was going to nationals. you know, being little badasses together, you know, and like to like selling out arenas is crazy.
Well, same question to you, because this is the generation that you brought through, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, like he said, you know what I mean? It's crazy because like I sit back and I think about like when they were young and they were kids, like they still had that vibe. Like it was like, you know, we'd all be huddled up and like, oh, Edgar's about to fight. Let's haul ass and go over there and watch Edgar fight. Oh, Troy's about to fight. Oh, Kayvon's about to fight. Oh, Kenny's about to fight. You know, oh, Africa's about to fight. You know, so it was just like we all ran to each other. Oh, Devin's fighting such and such. You know, sometimes they were all in the same weight class and they had to fight each other. Like, yo, we can't miss this. So it's like 6 rings gone. And you're like, man, you know, you watching. And like sometimes you might be in the morning session or afternoon session, you want to rest, but you're like, nah, man, such and such fight in the morning. And you know, I gotta get up, I gotta go watch it. So to watch them now, it's like I knew it could happen. It's just like they had fans, they had everybody going crazy. They were the talk. You know what I'm saying? Like they were always the talk, like, oh man, Edgar's fighting such and such. You think he's gonna beat him? You know what I'm saying? You think he's gonna, you know, Shakur's fighting this person, you think? So it was fun. Yeah, it was just fun. And like to watch them now, like he said, you know, they went from watching Sugar Shane Mosley, Floyd Mayweather, all these greats, you know, watching them come out with artists, Trinidad or doing this and watching people go crazy to transforming that from the amateurs and going to the pros and saying, I want to be that guy. I want to see how the crowd goes crazy. I have to create that. And to just actually like watch and walk out and like, well, they actually created what they said they wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Like they wanted to be that guy. And now they're them. And it's like, they have people yelling their name. They're coming out with the artists. And it's like, whoa, like for me as a coach, as a family, as someone that's like a family friend and all that, to like actually see a dream come true is like, dang, you know, it just makes you more of a believer. Like, whoa, this kid really made it happen. Like he's really taking care of his family now. Like, you know what I'm saying? He hasn't really changed. He's still the goofy kid, I know. Still plays around. You know, people see him iced out and all that, but you get Edgar, me and him alone, we cracking jokes. we'll see somebody, we laughing, we clowning. You know what I mean? We on the corner, you know what I'm saying? We'll still go to the neighborhoods and be cool with everybody and just enjoy it. Like we don't change. And that's what I've seen like with them growing up. You know what I mean? Yes, on camera and everything, you know, they might talk, but that doesn't change who they are really outside. When the cameras is off, they're just themselves. You know, they see each other, what's up, dab each other up. You know, the amateur days were the great days. So I think, you know what I'm saying, the pro, it's a business now, but, you know, they still see each other and respect each other. So I like him saying that he's happy to see all of them making it.
Do you feel like that the amateur days were the great days?
Yeah, like certain fighters be like, yo, you don't miss the amateurs? I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's cool, but we getting paid now, so.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's what it is, you know what I mean? Because you got to think about it in the amateurs, like, you meet everybody. You meet the Ryan Garcias, you meet the Tanks, you meet the Devin Haney's, you know what I'm saying? In the pros, you only meet them either being a fan or being across from them, you know? And then, like you said, the difference is the money. You know, you're like, man, I don't miss the belts. I don't miss the medals. I mean, I miss the laughs, the jokes, you know, because, you know, now it's business. But back then in the amateurs, you know, you see each other at the win, you cracking jokes, you laughing like, oh, you can't make weight. You know, you teasing each other. And then, you know, you like, man, come on, I'm going to go run with you so you can lose weight. So it's like, you know, and then, you know, you being friends with like somebody that's from region 3 or region 4, you're like, all right, let's bet. You know, a little bit of change you got, you betting like, oh, man, you know, so.
That's what I missed about the amateurs, like that right there. Like when they bringing out the brackets, you know, the brackets is like the names of whoever's in your weight division. So now you run into the, you know, they'll post it up on the doors where the venue's gonna be at, and everybody running to the brackets like, yo, what's in my bracket? Yo, such and such from Ohio's in my bracket. Let me see. Oh yeah, I'm gonna meet. If I went today and tomorrow, I'm gonna fight him on Thursday for the semifinal. I'm gonna f him up. All right, boom, and then it wound up being that he's winning, I'm winning, and we meet up in the semis, and then I win, and then we go to the finals. Now I'm fighting a guy from California, you know, that won 4 fights, and I won 4 fights. So now we fight for that medal, for the gold medal, or for the belt, or for the #1 spot.
You guys are betting. Who have you lost most money on?
I don't think I ever lost any money on the bets. I'll be honest with you, because like it was like sometimes I would bet or I wouldn't bet. I would just sit there and be like, oh, no, I ain't betting. I'm just gonna watch. He's gonna win.
Who's cost you money?
I don't know. Much like I started like we'll bet. I used to bet when I was like younger, you know. Like when I got older, I wasn't really betting. Like when I was young, I was like 13, 14, 12. But like $20, $30 on different fights. You know, like I probably betted on Shakur twice. Won that. I betted on when Ryan fought Devin and at the youth wars. I think I betted on Devin. Won that. Yeah, it was a couple of bets that we had betted on.
Sorry, we took a bunch of your time too. I appreciate you though.
That's cool. It's cool. I appreciate you guys.
All good, man. Much love, my boy. Be safe.
Oh, all right. Love
All
you,
good.
Kay.